everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Monday Mania, where we discuss everything that has happened in the world of triple threat promotions. I am your host, Cassie Willow. With me this week is Reno Phillips. We're discussing events between the 24th and the 30th of August this week. This, for many of the promotions within 3TP, was the run-in to Boudica Ball, which we will of course cover later in the programme. Now, I'm going to be a little more critical than Reno was in the Reno report, not to try and detract from any shows, just to give some pointers of what they could do different should they choose to. A little bit of fan feedback, if you will. I'll of course be going over what I liked and why as well. So let's start with Ronin Pro Season 6 Fight Club Episode 9. It's hard to get behind the wrestlers in Ronin Pro as a new fan. If you're like me and Reno and have been watching for years, you know, their recent money issues have limited what they get out, but you already know who was big before. I think as a newcomer to Ronin Pro, it'd be hard to get behind the wrestlers, more than just their in-ring skill. I'd like to see at least one interviewer show with one of the guys, just to get a little background or goals from them. They've got some real good possibilities for division leaders, Big Bushido, Beef Bucket, Jamari Mito and Gacy, just to name a few. They've got some interesting factions too. I'd just like to hear a bit more about why they're together. Remind everybody, they do throw out about 12 matches a week, which can be a lot. Reno, can you tell me how many matches each promotion had as of last week?
3TP cross-promotion events, 20 matches, NEW 98 matches, Ronin Pro 338, Zero Channel 47, Color TV 73, WCC 158, Sidebar 139 matches.
Right there, they put out nearly 3 times as many matches as WCC. Both have 2 shows. So here's what I'd do, and I'm not saying they have to do this, it's just how I'd approach it. I'd drop to a maximum of 5 matches a show, 1 or 2 interviews, maybe the 2 in the main event with the stuff I said before, a little background or goals from them, or anything personal that's going on between groups or wrestlers. Now this would mean a slight restructure of some of their mega events, either not have all the titles on the line or spread them out in the schedule so they will. Or, another thought I just had was add a last win and last loss to who and when, to their stats cards they show. Anyway, just something I jotted down while watching this. As for the show, I want to say Overkill facing Powerwolf was a really good big man match in the strength division. I always enjoy getting to see how Kobayashi is adapting over there since leaving NEW. The match he had with Golden Jaguar, I think elevated both of them. Kobayashi got the win. But I feel either of these two could get enough momentum to face Gabriel Warren for that Courage Championship. Always enjoy seeing Nikita in action. Kyle Briggs is really making a name for himself too. A big TKO finish, very nice. Gacy is another great one to watch from Ronin Pro. Jack Irvin has been there for quite some time, but for whatever reason has never really made waves for me. He's not bad in any way, I just don't think he's quite found his thing that makes him stand out, but he did manage to take Gacy to a draw. Over to Reno for the ratings.
Thanks, Cassie. Reno Phillips here. I've made a change to how I rank matches starting with this report. Each match can get up to 2 stars for story. Story not only being grudges, but journeys to titles and so on as well. And up to 2 stars for the match itself, the extra star being awarded for that added oomph or intangible factor that makes it a standout match. Now this is a bit of a tougher rating system, so you may see some averages dip as we get to the end of the year. Philip Reynolds versus Quinn Caldwell, 2 stars. Overkill versus Powerwolf, 2 stars. Golden Jaguar versus Kobayashi, 3 stars. EQ Jones versus Golden Lion, 2 stars. Nikita Bolek versus Kyle Briggs, 3 stars. Gacy versus Jack Irvin, 2 stars. I want to say as well, Cassie, I think some of the things you mentioned would help here, reminding us of recent matches or how many times they've faced an opponent and won or lost would be really interesting and go a long way to cementing career-long feuds in people's minds.
Monday came and New Extremes Wrestling had some contract negotiations. Nancy Valentine and Jane Madison have both renewed their contracts for another year. Later on Monday, we'd have World Championship CAW's Blockbuster 13. They kicked off their King of the Ring tournament, and Gorgon got a shocking win over Rex Bundy. I was expecting Bundy to walk through this one, but it seems I've overlooked Gorgon. Bone has clearly gotten sick of being overlooked, but I can't see WCC's GM being too happy with his approach, attacking Freddie Armani. Sarah Saint has made her return, presumably the one who's been attacking Jessica Saint recently. I'm intrigued to see where this sibling rivalry goes. Speaking of sibling rivalry, we also had an update on the DNA test. Victor Wolf will reveal the results next week. A good 6-woman tag team match leading up to Boudica Ball. Another mysterious message. I'm with Reno on this one. I think this is a message from the Horned King himself. Bone came to the ring. The 6-year pro is clearly upset at his lack of gold in those 6 years. It seems WCC, or War Machine, accepted Bone's terms. The main event to find who would face Freddie Armani at King of the Ring. War Machine retained, and I can't imagine how Bone is going to take that, given what he did to get the shot. Reno, over to you.
Thanks, Cassie. Gorgon versus Rex Bundy. 3 stars. Mia's Problem Solvers versus House Macabre and Mama Samedi. 3 stars. Bone versus War Machine. 5 stars.
Wednesday, we would get Frontline on Color TV, Episode 75, Rest Stop. Nina being the GM's sister is a very interesting fact. She doesn't exactly come across as one to stick to the rules, which could cause issue down the line. I'd love to see more between Eka and Tracy. That was an explosive match. A chaotic 3-way tornado tag main event. Twin Cities getting a big win, proving vital as Tasmania's endorsement. Back to you, Reno.
Thanks, Cassie. Shirley versus Madwoman Nina. 3 stars. Chico Ecker versus Amos Tracy. 3 stars. 200 IQ versus Twin Cities versus Dominion. 3 stars.
On Thursday, we had 3 TPs Boudica Ball, Diamond Doll and Super Tornado with a great opener to the show. We then had another ace in the whole segment. How Alice Young has kept this segment after the whole Dare fiasco is beyond me. The Phantom took a beating from Nella, but essentially wore her out. I'd have liked to have seen Nella get the win in that one. Pure chaos in the triple threat table, turmoil tornado tag match with a bit of an abrupt end, but still enjoyable. After the break, we were expecting the Queen of the Hill match, but out came Psycho Sonia to express her disappointment in not having an opponent for Boudica Ball, where she'd wanted to put her NEW Women's World Championship on the line. Kathy Cross, seemingly asking if the offer still stood during the break, went out there to answer that challenge. And well, as Irwin said on commentary, for the first time ever in NEW history, an outsider holds an NEW championship. The main event was great. I think it may have outshone Power Hour this year, partially because it's a first, but also because I don't think we've seen a match this brutal on the women's side in some time. Incredible stuff from start to finish. Reno, over to you.
Thanks, Cassie. Diamond Doll versus Super Tornado. 3 stars. The Phantom versus Nella. 3 stars. Mia's Problem Solvers versus Chaos Pact versus Casey and Skittles. 2 stars. Kathy Cross versus Psycho Sonia. 4 stars. I really wanted to 5-star this one, but I don't think the build quite gets 2 stars. Fox versus Kagome Katsura versus Brooke Lynn versus Mama Samedi versus Mai Nagano versus Brittany Beth. 5 stars. And yeah, that one got 2 stars for the story because this is something historic, our first ever 3 TP Women's World Champion crowned, and every one of the competitors gave it their all.
All right, Reno. What about the weekly averages?
This brings the weekly averages to 3 TP-4.1 stars. New Extremes Wrestling, 3.6 stars. Ronin Pro, 3.4 stars. Zero Channel, 3.3 stars. Color TV, 3.7 stars. WCC, 3.6 stars. Sidebar, 2.8 stars.
Well, that's all from us for this week's show. We'll be bringing some more people on board with next week's show, so stay tuned for what they bring to the table. We'll be back next week for another Monday Mania, next Monday at noon UK time. We'll see you then.